Father's embrace. I always knew that when he got angry, nothing was safe. At night, I could hear his footsteps on the floor, and my heart raced. I found a way to survive, even if it meant leaving everything behind. Those footsteps weren't loud, but they carried weight, the kind that presses against the walls, the floor, the air itself. Every night, it was the same rhythm, slow, deliberate, and enough to make the shadows on the walls twitch. I learned to freeze mid-breath, to make myself invisible, even when I was the only one awake. I would lie awake, listening. Sometimes it was just the house settling, the boards contracting, the wind pushing against the windows, but other times, it wasn't. Other times, it was him. Always him. The hallway outside my room seemed to stretch endlessly. I could see the dim light from the landing above, the faint flicker of the lamp he never turned on properly. Shadows moved strangely there, elongated and distorted by the single bulb, playing tricks on my mind. I had memorized every crack in the floor, every warped plank in the ceiling. Every little detail mattered, because a wrong step could mean discovery. That night, I planned to leave. Not permanently, just a few steps to breathe, to stretch, to remind myself that I could exist beyond the weight of his presence. I wrapped a blanket around my shoulders and inched toward the door. It groaned softly, betraying my movement. My heart skipped a beat. The hallway was empty. For a moment, I thought I was safe. But then a shadow moved at the top of the stairs. Not a shape, not a person exactly, just darkness that seemed heavier, watching. My chest tightened. I swallowed and took another step. The floorboard beneath my foot creaked. I froze. He didn't move immediately. That pause lasted longer than a normal heartbeat. Then, slowly, footsteps. Deliberate. Coming closer. I could feel it before I heard it, the tension in the air, like static electricity, warning me to stop, to stay invisible. I slid back into my room, letting the blanket fall over me. My hands shook as I opened the window, testing the latch. The cold metal bit my fingers, but I forced it open. Outside, the night was dark and still, empty of eyes, yet I felt his presence everywhere. I climbed out slowly, letting my feet touch the cold grass. Each step made a soft crunch, and I flinched at every sound, the wind in the trees, the distant hum of streetlights, a car far away. My mind raced. If he came after me, I couldn't fight, I could only run. Minutes seemed to pass as I moved through the empty streets. Every shadow looked like him, every flicker of light a potential trap. I kept my head low, shoulders hunched, eyes scanning for any escape route, any safe place. Memories of past nights rushed back, the sudden silences, the sharp looks, the doors closing too loudly, the threats I could barely hear but always understood. At one point, I ducked into an alley, heart pounding, listening. The house was miles behind me, yet I could feel it like a pressure in my chest, pulling me back. I whispered to myself, "You're safe. You're still alive. You're still you." But even as I said it, I knew the fear wasn't gone. Fear didn't leave overnight, it lingered, a shadow in every corner of my mind. When I jumped out the window, the cold wind hit my face. The street was dark and empty, the only sound the soft crunch of my footsteps on the pavement. Every shadow made me flinch, every distant sound made my heart race. I had no idea who or what might be following me. Nothing was completely safe. The only things I had were my short, shallow breaths, my courage, and the hope that I could put as much distance as possible between me and him. even if only for a few hours. The air was freezing, and sleep had abandoned me. Every step was a battle between panic and focus. I hugged my arms around myself, listening for any sound behind me, scanning the empty street for threats. The flicker of shadows, the rustle of trees, even the distant hum of a car made my nerves scream. There was no safe haven here, only darkness, silence, and the constant reminder that danger could be anywhere. I kept moving, forced forward by fear and instinct, knowing that surviving wasn't about reaching a safe place, it was about staying ahead, staying alive, and never letting myself be caught. The night stretched endlessly, every corner, every alley a potential trap. Freedom didn't feel like relief. It felt like vigilance, like a sharp edge that never dulled. By the time I slowed to catch my breath, I was exhausted, trembling, and still entirely aware that the world outside my house offered no guarantees. I had escaped one threat, but the night itself was not an ally. And yet, for the first time in a long while, I was moving under my own power. Subscribe.